Hello, and welcome to this Blockchat. Again, a Blockchat with Denis Petrovcic and Makram Hani. Actually, today it was meant to be Daniel with me, but Daniel is in Portugal, so Denis Petrovcic and Makram Hani again. I'm sure you are bored of us guys coming on and on every week or every other week. Yet, I'm sure that this one will be interesting. It's interesting because we will be discussing some things that matter to everyone who knows real estate, who's interested in real estate. And so, apologies, this is a door closing with the wind in the background here, as well as anyone who is interested to know more about what are our ambassadors, the few first activities of our ambassadors and what they're doing. Dennis, how are you? I wanted to click on Dennis here, and then he's fetching something from under the tables. You know what? There's a problem. I can't see you today. Okay. So I can't see you unless I look off the camera. So I will be looking at the camera for the first
So
time
that's the setup today. And on
ever.
my
It is.
end, my regular camera is somehow not connecting, right? So we had quite a bit of issues there.
So let me tell you what did
Um,
we do preparing for this block chat. Dennis messed up his camera and approximately his MacBook. I created a short circuit in my house, so it's working well. Let's hope we finish without an office and a home on fire. Dennis, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. How about you? How are you?
Amazing. Very good. Very good. So
Mhm.
what are let's start with the second thing that we wanted to talk about, our ambassadors, and what are the first activities of our ambassadors and how is it going. Cody and the guys were updating us of the activity. Tell us more, Dennis. How do you feel about it and what's happening there?
I think it's going quite well. Actually, I think we have currently like something like 40 ambassadors who either went through the whole process or are just about to finish going through. The last step is signing a referral agreement with Blocksquare. Um, and and very happy to see this activity or this happening without a lot of pushing, which means the interest is there. People are intrigued by the notion of collaborating in the sphere of real world assets and bringing that value on chain, whether that be by organizing events or by facilitating introductions to potential business partners or real estate owners. So basically, helping us out to build out this network of participants that have a common goal or common touching point, which is tokenizing real estate and making it available to people through Web3 technology. Um, so I think this kind of the route that regional hubs are taking is that we should soon see um, the first regional hubs to actually start forming. I believe we have one that's officially submitted information. There's a couple of others in formation. You need to understand that a lot of times ambassadors come alone. Basically, they come alone through knowing us, following the project, or maybe starting to follow. And then wanting to activate themselves in one way or another. But some have been as well present and utilizing our technology since since some time, but they don't know each other.
And this
So
tells you
it's
something, yeah?
yeah,
Even if you're alone, come on, we can
exactly,
create that
exactly.
match, bro.
That's the main role of regional hubs is connecting people that have a common interest, and it's hard to find other people that are interested in real estate tokenization in the same town. So I guess even in when you, Makram, go around Dubai, finding people, actively interested in real estate tokenization, it's it's still quite challenging, even though Dubai is a forward-thinking, futuristic oriented city, with 3 million people. So
When they know
imagine
that I'm
me.
involved, they lose interest. So
No, but imagine, for instance, the situation. For instance, somebody in Ljubljana, in Slovenia, there's there's probably a handful of people that might have the interest in actively pursuing this. But when you put this and zoom out and put this on a continent level, it's much easier to get three, four, five people to work together and kind of form a first regional hub. And that region might be Europe, it might be North America, it might be South America, or Africa, or and currently I think we're quite close to getting, I believe, regional hubs in 4 continents, and I think that's already the first step to activating this quarterly competition that's going to bring this incentive to regional hubs and regional ambassadors working in those hubs to kind of start growing their own communities.
uh, as you know, I believe I've seen some images from Cody today or yesterday sharing a meetup that was taking place. I was trying to find it on our channel to pick it up and share it with everyone, but I couldn't find it. So apologies for that. But yes, activity is happening. If you can't matchmake yourself, if you can't find other ambassadors in your locality, in your vicinity, in your region, in your city, in your state, get in touch with us, submit as an ambassador, and then our team is very keen on helping you get along with those who are like-minded and may help you create an impact. So it's all about that network, and that network effect is magnified whenever you have a team behind it that's helping it structure well and helping it go out and get together. So that's cool. In the coming few weeks, hopefully within the coming Blockchat, you will be informed that we have now a regional hub in every continent, and very soon, hopefully in every country. Why not? Even countries that are early to adopting technology, this is how it starts. It's a community aspect, community event, and communities can pioneer and develop from there. So very happy to see that that is happening and that's working. And as Dennis said, without so much pressure yet. Dennis, there was few questions that came from ambassadors. Do you want us to discuss some of them? I know that we've answered those ambassadors directly, but do you want us to discuss some of it? Because maybe there's many people out there who have the same type of questions in their heads.
Sure.
So what would you like to pick of those questions that you would like us to discuss in this block chat?
So, for instance, you have the question of a lot of times in the end, it's incentivation, right? How's this incentive program actually going to work out? And on one side, individual ambassadors have a referral agreement that basically binds Blocksquare to give a payout for any achievements or any referrals, let's say, that are made, and it's quite clear what the compensation is and for which actions. There might be certain things that are not yet covered because we haven't provisioned for them, and might require an additional update to the contract terms later on. But essentially, we see that this kind of collaborations can really take place. So one of the obvious things is bringing real estate assets on chain. There's bringing a new marketplace operator, and basically that's sorry. I have somebody's calling me in between, obviously. So I am not sure if I was cut or not, but
No.
no. So uh, basically, it's the the incentivation is set in a certain way. We believe that there's enough incentive for people to start working on it. We received certain questions that is comparing it to real estate transactions. And here maybe I don't know what, because I know internally we discussed this, but I know what you had a great analogy, not the one with the chickens though, the other one.
Okay. Okay. So the question was, some of the guys who want to be ambassadors are real estate brokers, and currently they collect 2 or 3% as a commission. And even if they recommend a property to be tokenized and sold, the incentive is 0.5%. And to be honest, I don't remember the analogy, but I'll answer with a different
Find it.
one.
Yeah.
You know what? Microphone came down, so that's cool. It would sit in front of you guys here. So um, the idea is the following. Yes, if you're a broker, you're transacting and you're creating a transaction and you're fulfilling, and it's not easy to take forward a transaction from A to Z. And you're making a 3% or a 2% or whatever, it can be even more. That is you concluding a real estate transaction. Now, imagine that you haven't concluded a real estate transaction. An owner of a property contacted you and told you, can you introduce me to a lawyer? And you've introduced him to a lawyer. And for that, he have given you 0.5% of the value of his property. Or he told you, you know what, I've lost the title deed. Can you get me a new copy of the title deed? And you contacted the notary or the authority or the trustee or the land department, and you requested a new copy of the title deed. And it was issued and sent to you, and you sent it to him. And for that, he paid you 0.5% of his property value. Yeah, that's a job that you usually are compensated $100 for, if you are compensated. That's a service you do usually. Here, it's a similar thing. You've just recommended a property for tokenization, and you are collecting on all sales 0.5%, but more. Let me tell you something. When you are selling a property, you make money once. Now, if you ask me, would you rather collect on a sale of a property of $1 million, a $20,000 or a $30,000 today, or would you like to air tag that property? And here I remember the chickens, but you air tag that property. And every time anyone sells it or buys it, or any part of it, now or in the future, you get paid $5,000. Which one would I choose? I would choose the $5,000. I would love to be paid forever. Tokenization. So I started my career in insurance. Do you know that, Dennis? No. I
No.
was a kid. I was a kid. At that time, I had a good personality. It changed with time. What should you do? So at that time, I was a kid and I was in insurance, and I sold life insurance and health insurance. And I loved medical insurance because it pays you forever as long as it runs. And then I went into real estate, and it pays you once, but also there's some activities in real estate that pay you forever. Tokenization pays you significantly, similar to real estate, and consistently, similar to insurance. So imagine that you have that snowball effect possible in your life and earnings. At the same time, you're earning significantly. So you're not earning 0.05%, you're earning 0.5%, which is 0.5%. And if you launch your marketplace, it will become 1%. And that is an earning that you're doing today and you're doing forever. Yeah, which is something amazing. So this is what you're earning. So for whoever is asking, shall I? It earns me only 0.5% in real estate brokering. I get paid 2 or 3%. I would tell you here you're paid much more than 2 to 3%, but it's just continuous and consistent. As long as this property is being transacted, you're being paid, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, any certified partner that brings real estate gets this kind of deal. If you're an ambassador, you can kind of step up and get involved with your company and do exactly what Makram is saying. Or you can just basically refer property owners to come and tokenize with us. We've set up a small, fee, reward fee for that, for whether that's a property that is owned by an individual, is it, a rental property, or is it a commercial property, right? And it's not about the value itself of the property, but it's more about that action. So that introduction.
And that
Now,
reward is not $100.
and that's it's a small reward. It's a small reward, just like you would go, like the analogy that you made, taking up a copy of the deed, and somebody would pay you $100 for it. But essentially, there's no real heavy lifting for somebody to do to introduce somebody for tokenization for staking. However, if that person then decides to conduct a token offering or a token sale, then the proposition that Makram has suggested starts kicking in. The 0.5% could be paying you out perpetually, essentially. So that's something that at every transaction on the secondary market, you become a part of it. Obviously, that requires you to become a certified partner, but you don't need to run your own marketplace for it. So
If you run your own marketplace,
that's
even if it even grows. And what
yeah.
Dennis talked about here is something that I didn't even mention. Imagine if you refer a property for tokenization, and that tokenization is a cost to us, and it doesn't go to public offering, you still earn a bonus or a reward. So imagine I didn't even scrap that. So you take that and you add it to afterwards a public offering, and you add it to if you became also a marketplace operator. All of those are rewards that are stacking up. And again, perpetual reward is the best type of reward, in my view at least. And I see you agree as well. So that's what we hope ambassadors, people who believe in this, real estate brokers who are being attracted and are interested in this would see, similar to how we see it. Now, any other question, Dennis, that you would like to pick on before we move to the subject of today? Is there any question that you would like to pick on from the questions that the ambassadors and the applicants have submitted?
So there's a lot of times a bit of misconception between ambassadors in terms of how the tokenized license works. So here there's the understanding of BST and staked BST. So BST is the native token, Blocksquare token. However, whoever holds BST can also participate in governance, which means they can go to Ocean Points app and they can um, deposit BST to receive SBST. Currently, the ratio, and usually it's like for simplicity purposes, is for every 3 BST, you will get 1 SBST. And it's not a fixed ratio, but it basically changes. The more deposits that are in the contract, the higher the ratio, right? So in the end, if you would say in the first to deposit would receive 1 SBST for 1 BST. And then you would need to deposit more BST to get the same amount, right? Now, for every 10,000 staked BST, a marketplace operator receives 10% discount. So for 100,000, they receive 100% discount. And I think that's one clarification that was also, we received some questions about, and we see as well in with marketplace operators that kind of are looking to work with us. They a lot of times misunderstand this point. Yeah.
So again, SBST, stake BST is what counts here, and it's very easy. Go to market, go to app.ocean point, and then when you're there, you're able to stake your BST, connect your MetaMask or your wallet to the site, and then you'll be able to stake your BST in the governance pool, and staking your BST in the governance pool will earn you as well as give you the ability to get a discount on operating a marketplace, or the licensing actually to operate a marketplace. And here, getting a discount on the licensing, which is allows you. It's your shop front, yeah. So having a white label marketplace allows you a shop front. You're leasing a shop front. Perfect. Dennis, let's go to our main subject for tonight. We don't have much time left, but we want to give that enough time and as much time as required. Today, there is big changes happening to lending, real estate lending, and that's the case with everything from retail to capital markets and the changes that are happening there. We know that there's events of parts of the capital market freezing. And we know that there is events of total liquidation in some parts of the market, companies that are holding commercial real estate. We have foreclosures there that are growing. How can that be impacted by tokenization? So today, if we tokenize a property, or can we use tokenization as a solution to any of?
I think tokenization can be a solution, or to some cases. Obviously, you can't solve everything, right? But on some cases, it's definitely something that can be utilized. So I don't know if you can go with an example, and we'll try to work through it.
So let's talk about today. Someone owns a strip mall. You know, strip malls are very common in many countries. They are small community malls that are very essential to the community and the surrounding. But in general, the economics of them have suffered over the past few years, and sometimes continue to suffer. And there's pros in them who come in, take it on, refurbish it, and make something out of it, but still, they're suffering. A strip mall, call it a $4 to $5 million of a property, has a loan attached to it. That loan obviously have changed in structure and needs refinancing today. The rate used to be 2, 3, 4. Today it's 7, 8, 9, whatever it is today. How can tokenization help an owner and help a community with that situation?
Oh, if we look at the market today, the prices of real estate assets have not started to decline yet. So I think there's and they're reasonable. The pricing, at least if you compare with the lease contracts that they have in place. So in my belief, certain assets will be affected pricing just because of increasing interest rates and potential defaults, which kind of lead to liquidations, which then the any buyers or on the market are then focusing on distressed assets and not and that's it. And on the other side, the cost, the running costs have increased. So that's one thing, but that should be kind of absorbed with the lease contract that the owner has in place. On the other side, there's another side of the costs, which is the interest rate, and sometimes that hike, as the hike that happened now, which kind of doubled the the cost of borrowing, even with lower amounts. So so now, basically, with tokenization, if the owner has built out an equity position, and the LTV of the loan is has diminished in a way towards against the value of the property, there's a certain illiquid part of its ownership that's locked in there, and it's great on paper, but it doesn't solve any problem. It's like you have still your interest rate that it's now double. It used to be, I don't know, 5K, now it's 10. So what do, right? You can't just increase the lease terms because you have a long-term 10 years lease in place, and nobody cares about increasing their own or taking this upon themselves. Why would the tenants need to bear those costs? So you're not going to hear, get anyone to listen to you there.
Empathy.
So you don't have really, so then the option of refinancing the loan, maybe, but that also gonna cost you additional money, right? And I'm not sure that any lender would be willing to go below the current interest rate. You can, refinance for a fixed one, but is that a smart decision right now? Not sure either. So maybe you can find a way to get involved with other partners on a more equity level than debt side. So with tokenization, you could basically take 10% or 20% of that asset. Let's say that you build out 40% of equity during your time, and now you have that that's worth what? Let's say 2 million for that kind of asset, or 2.5. You can tokenize for 500,000 worth of the asset, invite 20 other investors in, um, and maybe with a deal of a buyback in 5 years, or a buyback when there's a decline in interest rates, or I don't know. You can create your scenario for investors to offer them an exit, and that's what tokenization is about, essentially, right? So you would be able to get some additional cash in, maybe pay off a part of the debt with it to decrease not the interest rate, but your monthly obligations towards the bank. Or you could basically just keep that as a reserve, and for until you're able to get to a certain moment in the market where this becomes again something that can be afforded by the economics of that investment.
That's exactly what you need to do. So you are able today to liquidate part of your asset and have other people who may be interested to join you on ownership on this asset come in using tokenization in a structured, transparent, effective, efficient manner. Um, Cost is lower than you would do in any conventional manner. And it sets right straight. It helps with distributions. Um, it gives you a way to digitize that entry and exit of people. That can be people in your community, partners, and organizers helps you organize this relationship with those parties. So and that's not only on a strip mall. That can be on a multifamily. That can be on a single family home. That can be on a student's housing. That can be on any of those properties. Actually, that can even be on a property you're trying to fund the development of. If you own the land, if there is a type of income, you are able to do that. Even if there's no income, but if there is interest, and if you're able to demonstrate the benefit to parties who would want to benefit of purchasing a part of a property rather than a whole property in your vicinity, in your project, in your location, that would be interesting. So it gives you that array of solutions in a very economical manner. Usually, to do this, the costs are very high. You are able to do it at a very reasonable cost. And specifically for those who are looking today to um, solve a problem where the cash flow is negative on a major commercial property. They're stuck in a situation where they either need to let go the asset, go to foreclosure, because most probably that asset will be difficult to sell in the market today and probably going forward. I don't see it getting much easier anytime soon, do you? For such a type of asset. How about if you are able to offer your tenants to purchase share in your non-strata building, parts of that building, as well as everyone else, not only your tenants, but even beyond. If the tenants own a share, they are reducing their rental burden because they're paying rent and then they're receiving rent. So they're reducing that burden. And this way, you haven't sold the whole property. The tenants are know what they're buying. They're buying a property that they reside in. They're benefiting from that, and it's a back-to-back benefit to them. They're paying and they're receiving, while they would have never been able to do that because, as we said, it's a non-strata building, for example, and the tenant is not interested to purchase the whole property. So all of those are benefits, are things you can do utilizing tokenization. The cost of tokenization is very little compared to any other conventional method that can allow you the same type of transparency, structure, flexibility, and utility and support and distribution. That is a major part of you today going for tokenizing real estate. And if you are in Europe, for example, and that is applicable in many other jurisdictions, you are able to have that while everyone is secure because the whole tokenization aspect is notarized. Blocksquare have done that already. Around 6 months ago, we have done the first property tokenization in Europe, tokenization, notarization in Europe. A few years ago, we've done the first tokenization, but a few months ago, we've done the first notarization of a property tokenization instance or incident. And that's very important. So if you're in Spain, if you're in Austria, if you're in Germany, if you're anywhere else in Europe, in the UK, in France, you have a property. You want to liquidate the property without liquidating the property. Today you can. You want to exit a portion of the property. Today you can. You want to have your nephews and your cousins on part of a property that could have been inherited, but needs renovation, and everyone needs to chip in, and you want to organize that, and usually you would need lawyers, and tokenization is a solution. So not only can you have them chip in on the development, but also you can secure all the rights through a tokenization process that can be implemented. It's implemented already in the European Union. It means it can be implemented in every big city, in every country, in every city in Europe. So come through and check that out. If you have a building where you will need some funding to upgrade it, where would you go for that funding? Dennis, if you have today a new student's housing and you would need to renovate it, what's the best way to get money for renovation?
Well, it depends. It depends, I guess.
What's the bank rates today in Ljubljana for something like that?
Well, if it's well, you would get a loan as a if you're a company, for instance, you can get a loan up to 10 years term. You can define the rates are, I think, around 6% right now, currently. But there's like, for instance, with student housing, we used to do a new kind of SPV for every deal. However, now the same banking partner that was quite open to this kind of arrangement has now bumped up certain means, with the increase of interest rates, they're not fighting for smaller deals anymore because they're earning quite 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 well, I would say. Um, and and remember, a lot of those a lot of those deals were kind of enabling, certain type of entrepreneurs to be able to enter this kind of, or finance this kind of 1-2 million deals, let's say. But currently, that's I think quite closed, at least as far as I have looked into. So there's only alternative ways of financing still available. And tokenization is, I think, one of those alternatives that will kind of benefit from this, from banks closing doors to customers that they happily worked with and still work with, uh, but not for new deals. So yeah, so
Time, if you're a
when
property
certain,
owner, and I know
yeah,
from myself,
yeah,
I wouldn't want to block a whole property if I need a 50,000 euros to renew some furniture in the property. Or if would you want to do that?
no,
Not
no.
really. If it's a 2 million property and you need a 200,000 euros to renovate and
Oh
upgrade,
yeah,
uh,
of
you
course.
wouldn't want to block the whole property. Tokenization allows you to exit that 10%. The beauty of it is that the terms of that exit and buyback even can be preset. And then when they're preset, you're able to exit and come back in a very simple and healthy way. So um, those are options that are available for you today. Day after day, we're working to make it as simple as possible and as easy as possible to you. The cost is pretty low to do it for you. And at the same time, if you have the property and you have the market for it around you, which obviously it's much easier to find the market for 10% and have 10 people join to get the 10% rather than have finding one person to take the 100% of a property that you may not want to fully sell anyway. Contact us. Maybe that's a solution for you. So um, this is something that's happening as we speak, and this is something that's happening every day. And on it is few properties that are going online in the coming few days. Actually, one of them, Daniel described as funny because it's beside Dennis's high school. Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. And Daniel stayed beside it directly, so he knows it pretty well. It's in Ljubljana. There is how many properties in total? 12
He
properties.
said, "Oh, he said it's quite funny because he remembers going for lunch there.
Yeah. So
One
it's
time that
yes,
he
yes.
was saying, because there's a restaurant in the lower floor, and there's, I think, eight apartments on top of it. It's a great location, central, and the owner is actually a acquaintance of mine, let's say. And he contacted me after a couple of years we haven't seen each other, and we started discussing about, he wanted to learn more about tokenization, etc. So that's and the main topic that we went for lunch, and we had this topic about you know the state of real estate financing today in in Slovenia, for instance. But I think it's kind of similar elsewhere as well. Banks being really reluctant or hesitant to help out entrepreneurs conduct deals. It's like, you know um, you don't really understand. There's no reason for them to not enter and facilitate that kind of deal to happen, because they've done it in the past and it's proven to be a good deal. I've done several deals and they're all fine. And in the bank, the lady says to me that, I know, done this kind of deal. It was a good one, and it still is, and we could easily do 10 more. But the regulation and the rules within the bank have changed since, and now this will not fall through
And that's
our,
normal. Yeah.
yeah,
When there's a cash squeeze and there's high interest rates, possibility of creating margins in a different way. When there's those events, it's normal that banks become more selective about whom they lend to, especially when they feel or they know or they um, can predict or expect the higher probability for a market change, yeah, for markets to change. And that's reality of what is happening or is coming or started happening already. Nobody knows. So it's all about you having options. Tokenization today is becoming more and more, as Dennis said, the right option and a more viable option for you. It's worth it. Give us a call. It's pretty simple. Um, it's as simple as you taking that asset, deciding how much of it do you want to sell, let go forever, or let go for a period of time. What's the reward for whoever coming in? Are you selling it and then it's the market price that sets it after that? Or are you selling it with a fixed type of return? Or what are you selling it with and how are you selling it? And then after you do that, we will create the back end of documentation and utilize technology so that we have those contracts done and that token created. And then you can have those tokens issued and then distribute them, sell them, offer them to those who are interested in your assets. It's a pretty simple process. Forget about the jargon in it. Forget about the difficult terminology. Forget about the process, smart contracts, and how many smart contracts. It doesn't matter. What you need to know is that the smart contracts are hack and audited. Yeah, it's secure enough. That's what you need to know. Any other thing is, to me, I'm a real estate guy, not viable to understand and know. What I need to know and understand is that my asset is secure. What I'm putting in front of my client, the person who's buying and becoming my partner in the house, is clear. It's clear to him and it's clear to me. Costs are clear, the end result is clear, and the route forward is clear for you and for us. And this makes everyone conclude a successful transaction in a very simple way. So if you are in that position, contact us today, and I'm sure that we will take good care of you. Dennis, we already exceeded what we should have. Any last words to our community, our ambassadors, our team, and everyone else?
I think we can conclude with what the topic we started, ambassadors, regional hubs. There's a couple of ambassadors that are really close to finalizing the process. I think Cody has as well followed up and check your emails, check your spam folder. Perhaps it went there, or just, contact us with through Telegram or Discord, or just um, to get through that process. I think it works quite smoothly, because we see now on a, not on a daily level, but on a weekly level, we see several new ambassadors sign the final step, the referral agreements, which means that the process is working as it should. So if you got stuck somewhere in between because of your daily job or normal life, obviously, um, go back, finalize, and be open to new opportunities, because I think this is a new opportunity that you need to kind of just go with it.
And if you haven't, and you know about real estate tokenization, it's worth trying the process. You trust me, you'll learn more and you'll enjoy the process, and then you probably will become an investor and be rewarded for that. If you're not into tokenization and you don't know about it, but you're into real estate or would like to know about it, feel free to also go through the process. The process is a very simple one, no strings attached. You can become a no ambassador at the end of it, if you decide that that's not for you. And if you decide that it is for you, it can add value to your days, and you can add value to your surrounding with it. Then we would love to have you there. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Makram.
Enjoy your day, and enjoy your week ahead. Thank you, everyone, for the support, all the support to date, and all the support that's coming. I see it coming. Have a good day. Till another block chat. Happy days.